kind of stole my thunder with our Father thing. I was going to start off with that. But, oh well. Whoa, this thing moves. You know, when he first told me I was going to do this, I was kind of compelled just to come out and say, why be Catholic? Well, Jesus said so, thank you. And just leave. Well, you got to go a little more in depth. I got to fill a whole hour, so I can't stop there. I didn't really know how far to go back. But when you ask about a conversion, it starts from so far back. Some things lead up early in your life, things later. Mine didn't really start leading away till a little later in life. I'd say up until middle of junior high, I was still flying real straight. Real straight. Parents proud, all A's, no drugs, no smoking, no nothing. It was, a parent's dream. And what kind of happens, it's kind of the friends that you kind of hang out with. Really, a lot of times you don't make your own decisions all the time. And I kind of fell victim to that a little bit. And what had happened, I was kind of in the generation of the ADHD thing, right when it got real big. You hear about it a lot of times now, but back then you didn't hear about it barely at all. So I was like on Ritalin, all the different kinds of drugs when I was little, just because I was so hyper. So as I got into junior high, I traded one for the other. Because I think kind of in my head, someone tells you always got to be on drugs all the time just to be normal. Like you can't go anywhere without being on this medication. You walk around like a drugged out zombie. But when you're little, you don't understand. My parents weren't doing it. They're doing it because the doctor told them to do it. So they didn't know. Now you can tell things are a lot different, how they dose kids, and it's totally different now. So I kind of traded off from one thing to another. I'd say 7th, 8th grade. I didn't hang with like a lot of kids that were my age. I was hanging out with a lot of older kids. So you kind of got to run. You fall really into peer pressure a lot, and you don't want to look like a nerd. So that's when I think I started drinking. Started smoking cigarettes. Like, if anyone that smokes here, the craziest thing about smoking cigarettes is when you start, you can't do it. You have to make yourself inhale. And they keep telling you, hold it in, you're going to cough your brains out, but it'll get better. Like, what do you mean it'll get better? It's something I got to really try to do to really hurt myself. Oh, sorry. Well, you get good at it. Pretty soon you don't cough anymore. You're a pro at smoking. You start feeling like you're cool. Then drinking. Well, you have to drink a lot before you puke and look like an idiot. So just keep doing it. Pretty soon you'll be a pro at that too. So you end up being a pro at that, and now you're strutting. You get into high school, and it's so funny how high school is now in retrospect. Now that I'm a little older, my dad used to always tell me, you play so hard to stand up with these kids look at you. Well, you want to stand up and everyone, these little kids think that you're real good, but when you're an adult, you look at them like, my dad's like, you want to impress all, you guys are all dumb little kids. You guys ain't got a car, you got no money, you spend our money and drive our cars and you act like you're king, you're nothing. But when you're in school, you don't know that. It's just your surroundings, So I kind of fell into that too. Well, as I'm speaking now, I always had kind of the gift of gab. So I got pretty good when I started getting in. I wanted to get money, and I had a paper out when I was 9 years old. Always had a job. My parents always taught me, make money, go to garage sales, buy something, fix it up, sell it. So naturally, I got the hustling mind. So I put 1 and 2 together. Okay, I'll start selling drugs. That sounds smart. In retrospect, it sounds pretty stupid, but it's supply and demand. Everyone wants to do it, you do it. Well, I noticed when I started doing it, I was really good. I mean, I was in 11th grade sometimes making $1,500 a week. For now, I wish I could make $1,500 a week now as easy as I made it back then. So I started doing that. I noticed I'm good at it. So, of course, my smart mind, I keep doing it. And I keep getting better at it. And I get so good, people are just, they want me to sell everything. And, of course, being smart, I do. And then, what was real weird about 19 years old, I had met one, I should have said that in the beginning, I'm Eastern Rite Catholic, I'm Maronite Rite. And I went back to Lebanon with my dad when I was 19 years old. And it's really weird, you get in a plane, you fly for about 14 hours and you land somewhere and the world is totally different. There's a saying that us Lebanese have, is you're either a sinner or a saint. There's nowhere in between. Either people are really, really holy or they're really, really bad. And a lot of people in my family over there are priests. And I have a second cousin. She's one of the head nuns for the Mothers of Lebanon. And I went there, and it's surrounded by really faithful Catholics. There's really no such thing as like Protestantism in Lebanon. There's the church that the American people started, and then there's the Catholic church that, our church building is about 700 years old in my village. So 3 times as old as this country is just our church building. And then the catacombs are about 1,300 years old. So you're surrounded by really ancient stuff when you go there. It gripped me when I went there. It really did grip me. We have a Saint Charbel. He's like our big dog saint. I think he died either a year before or after St. Teresa of Lisieux. He's an incorrupt. And I went to it's like his, you'd call his monastery. And I was touched when I went there. I was separated from this life for a month, and I liked it. It's simple. It's just quiet. And you notice people live there till like 90, 95 years old, more healthy than I am right now. They just don't have the stress, and it's just quiet, and they farm. And I was going to church every day, just walking in, praying, and then I left, came back home, put back the rap music in my ear, driving around, getting high, just totally forgot. But I had the rosary in my car now. I learned a bunch of prayers in Syriac that I was praying just because I thought it was cool. But I brought a little bit of that pride back with me. So that was, I didn't lose that. It kind of stuck with me for a little while. So then I turned about 21. This is where it went crazy. So I think in my smart little mind, I go, I'm selling drugs, but I'm buying it from somebody. So you're even thinking like business. You always want to buy something as cheap as you can buy it, so you can sell it for more. It's just simple economics. The cheaper you can buy, the more you can sell. So I'm thinking with my mind, well, if I grow pot, then I won't have to buy it anymore. This is my smart little mind ticking. So what does smart Paul do? I start reading books, and not to toot my horn, everything I read, I usually get pretty good at. And I got really good at it. And I think $1,500 a month was good. I was making sometimes $20,000, $25,000 a month when I was doing that. I was going on vacations, buying $60,000 cars, do whatever I want. The girl that I was with now is still with me. She's my wife. I just caught her peeking and looking at me so you can see. I have no idea why that woman stayed with me. I'll be honest, no idea. I even told her 1,000 times, what are you doing? Never smoked, did drugs, drank, nothing. Part of hers was saved me. I don't know why she, still this day, we have 2 little boys together, and it's I'll tell you where she comes in the story later. So I'm doing that, and I'm doing real well, and she's always telling me, maybe you should. I was a carpenter the whole time, too. I had a carpentry company. I was a trim carpenter. I build furniture and all, so I was still working, because that's just more money. I couldn't give up more money. I could make enough doing that, and then I still have to work, though. I don't know if that was ambitious or greedy, or maybe both. Probably both. But thank God I kept working because I'm good at it now, and it supports my family now, so praise be to God, I still stayed in that. So that went on for, sometimes I ask God, why did it go on so long? I got away with it for a long time. Probably 8 years solid of just money, and fun. And then, I'd see, it was in 2006. You start growing up a little bit, and money can only make you so happy. It's always when you don't have money, you can fall for the myth, what if? What if I had a big house and I had a Lear jet and I had a bunch of women? People have done that forever, and it never makes anybody happy. It never works. But when you don't have it, you always have something to work for. And a lot of people don't ever get there. So you always live for that lie. I got there. I didn't make millions of dollars, but I had a lot of money. For a young kid, I had a real lot of money. Just was not happy, at all. So instead of stopping, I get into harder drugs. So I'm like, I already do drink, go out to the bar, smoke pot. I started eating ecstasy. I'm like, well, this is great. And then you really get clouded. Because when you start doing those drugs, you really never come down long enough to get your brain, even again, where you don't even really know what you're doing. And then I got into that for a couple of years, probably 3-4 years, real hard, just really partying. Now, if I would have got broke, I probably would have stopped earlier, but I was still making a lot of money. So I'm like, how bad can this be? So what? I'm high. But I got more money than I got more money than anyone I know. There's nothing wrong with this. And then I remember working, and I do have to give this to baptism. When you're baptized, even if you don't hear his whispers, he don't leave you. He's always trying. I've noticed I had a lot of opportunities down the path to stop. And, you tell them, like a choose your own adventure book. Okay, you can do this right now. You choose. Dad, no, I'm going to just keep doing this. I'm having fun. Not now. I think it was Augustine who said that. Lord, please save me. Just not now. Just not today. Let me just keep on doing this, please. So I ran that path for a little while, but more and more I was just miserable because I tried stopping, I couldn't stop. I always thought I was playing the game. Like I was the one controlling my life. I was the one that was in control where I was going. And it's really crazy to think about it now. I'm up here actually speaking about my faith. If you knew where I was 6 years ago, I think about my parents. Because I always want to tell parents that have kids that go down this, and it's not your fault. My parents are the antithesis of this life. My parents don't smoke, don't drink, don't swear. Daily mass attenders, hardcore Catholic people my whole life. And I think how much, now that I have kids, how much shame you bring to your family. You don't know that when you're little, though. You don't even know that, you think you're 18, you're old, you're not. You're still just a little. I'm a dummy. From 2 years ago, I can't believe the moron that I was 2 years ago. Can only imagine I was 18 and my dad looking at me through his eyes going, what are you doing? What are you doing? Always to tell me, come on, you're so smart, why you waste your life? I got money. That was always the excuse, I got money. It's so stupid. I started I started reading the Bible. It was really funny in this whole life. I got a whole bunch of tattoos. They're all religious. Like I got Jesus on one arm. I got a prayer on the other arm. I got the chrysanthemum of Christ, a Trinitarian thing on my back. I got Father forgive me on my stomach. I wasn't practicing my faith. But I always had love for God. But just love. I never wanted to go see him or do anything that he said, but I loved him. I think they call it parachute religion. You have it, you just hope you never got to use it. So, everything's flowing good. Life is good. I was starting to get really miserable, though. I knew it had to end. You can't do that forever. You start, the places I've been, the people I've seen, you don't think you can turn out like that? You can turn out like that. I've seen some really bad stuff. Like, God save me. I don't know how I have never been shot. I've been to places and been robbed at gunpoint, made it out. Seen people get robbed, shot, made it out. Do I stop? No. I was a genius. Don't stop. Oh, I'm lucky it won't happen to me again. It didn't happen to me. A lot of people I know it did happen to. So I started thinking, the longer you're in something, the harder it's going to be to get out. It's just like smoking cigarettes. You don't understand when your parents tell you don't smoke? I smoked last week. I ain't smoking again. I keep smoking and see what happens. And you can't stop. Well, it's the same thing with drugs. So once you feel like you're getting played, that's when the ball starts to turn. I was probably 25, 26. Hold on. That's why I grabbed 2 drinks. And then I was going through, I was at work one day. This is kind of like the turn, not Catholicism, but just a turn of Christ. I started listening to, 103.5? Bob Duco in the afternoon. He's like a Protestant radio show guy. And I was like, he's pretty cool. I've always been an arguer, too. I'm an apologist now for a reason, because I love to argue. And I love to win. That's not even the best. I love winning arguments. So I'm listening to him argue, and some things I didn't agree with. I don't know why I didn't agree with him, but just from being I'm Maronite Rite, but I was baptized in a Latin Rite church. So when we're baptized in the Maronite Rite, we get confirmed at baptism. There is no confirmation. You get it all at one time. You make your first communion, that's it. Well, I had to go through to make my confirmation. So when all my friends, they didn't have their catechism was not for sacraments, it was just catechism. So I stayed, and I made all my sacraments like a year or two ahead of my class, just because I just knew my faith. My grandmother, God bless her, was a saint. She, I think, is another half the reason I came back to the church. You've never seen this lady without a rosary in her hand praying 24/7. So I don't know, maybe she was part of my conversion too. I ask her for intercession all the time. So I'm listening to this guy, and I don't know why I'm not agreeing with him on some things, because I'm not practicing my faith, but just I'm saying it doesn't sound too right. So I remember it was Good Friday. It was a year before all this, the big stuff happened. And I go, I'm going to go to church on Good Friday. I go, what the heck? So I grabbed my buddy Jason. I go, let's just go to a church. I didn't understand denominationalism yet. I just thought all Christians were the same. I didn't know, like, Catholic and Presbyterian and Lutheran. I thought church is church. It's all the same. And I go to a Lutheran church, and I remember sitting in the back. The guy's got vestments on. There's an altar, even a crucifix. I'm like, it seems right. And he gives a little, preach, and then they walk out. I go, the lights come on. What do you mean? This isn't done yet. And I'm like, whoa, something's missing. This isn't right. And I go back home, and I go, Bob. So I call my dad, Bob. I'm like, Bob, I just went to church. It was so weird. The guy was preaching, and then everyone left. And he's like, well, they don't have the Eucharist. What do you mean? Why do you go to a Lutheran church? I'm like, I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? He's like, well, where are you going to go to church there? I'm like, I just figured it was a church. So I didn't go back for a little while, but I remember telling my buddy Jason, who, go figure, was a Lutheran, and I brought him into the church too, so now he's a Catholic, and his wife is a Baptist, and she's a Catholic now too. Praise be to God. So this was just getting on my journey. I'm still listening to Bob Ducol. I'm still arguing with him. I even called in the show. I wasn't even allowed to be on it anymore. They knew my voice. I even call and say, yeah, this is Matt. They're like, this isn't Matt Paul. Don't call back here anymore. It goes in this year. And this, God, I feel like such a hypocrite. I'm listening to all this. I'm starting to think about Jesus, read the Bible. I'm still doing coke. I'm still doing ecstasy. At the same time, I'm reading the Bible while I'm high. Thinking, Woody, you're crazy. Okay, whatever. I'm going to keep doing it. So smart. Genius. So I kept trying to stop. I kept failing. Kept trying to stop. Kept failing. My wife now kind of gives me an ultimatum. Like, we've been together almost 7 years. You got to do something. I'm just not going to stay with you to be a lifelong girlfriend. Where are you going? Yeah, you got money, but we got to do something. So I'm like, wow, I do love her. I don't want to lose her. Okay, we'll go. And I'm such a lame. We go get engaged. I tell her, pick out a ring. You like that one? Okay, will you marry me? Here, put it on your finger. No romance, no nothing. She just picked out a big ring. I bought it for her. Okay. Thank God for her. Oh my gosh, I'd still be lonely. So after failing, I probably didn't pray. Usually when I pray, it'd be like talking into a CB, not knowing anyone that's on the other side, and just kind of like, God, if you're there, maybe can you help me? Don't know if anyone's hearing. I had faith, but not that much faith. I didn't have the faith to step off a mountain cliff and think he'd catch me. I didn't have faith like that. But I just knew that I had quick little miracle. My grandmother. This is one that why I could never really leave, especially Catholicism. I just couldn't. I think my dad's family came here in the 40s, and there was 9 children, 8 at the time, before my dad was born. So it was about 41, 40, maybe 39, 40, around there. And it was the middle of the winter. They had no money, and they were going to get kicked out of their house. It's in the middle of the winter. My grandparents didn't know English. They didn't know where to go. And my grandmother, like I said, had a really big Marian devotion. She went to sleep one night, and the Blessed Mother came to her in a dream and told her, Tina, why are you crying? And she goes, I'm going to lose everything for my family. And she goes, no, you're not, Tina. Don't worry about it. She goes, you're going to serve my son. She goes, I'll serve him until I die. She goes, well, I want you to wake up, and you go to the light switch, and you peel back the wallpaper, and there'll be 3 numbers on that wall. You take every penny in your family, all the kids, and you play that. And then the lottery back then wasn't a state lottery. It was like just little Italian guys that would run a lotto on a little corner table. It was a city lottery. So she woke up, she peeled that's another one of my tattoos, peeled the paper, 167 was on the wall. They had 50 cents at the whole house. My Uncle Edward had 25, he had a quarter, and everyone else had pennies and nickels. They took 50 cents, they played it on 167, they hit it straight and won $500. They won $500 in the 40s with a lot of money. After that, she would buy houses and rent each room out, clean their laundry, cook for them, and pretty much be like their mom. She would give away everything. At the end of the month, she'd have money. They bought a grocery store. They give away everything. At the end of the month, they had a pile of money. They buy a fruit market, give all the food away. At the end of the month, they have a pile of money. She didn't know where it come from. Blessed lady. This is why I could never leave, because I knew the faith of that woman and the faith of all my dad and all those children. There's faith there. So it was one night I got on my knees. And this time I really prayed. Like, I knew he was listening to me. I had to give it all. And I said, my dad was a pretty good father. And you always notice really good fathers are the ones that really whip their kids. The ones that are really mean, those are the good fathers that really, really care. And you know, parents that don't care, they don't say nothing to their kids. Go on, stay out all night, and I don't care. I wanted a good father. So I told God, you know, if you're really a good father, whip me. Throw me in my room, do something. Because I can't do this on my own. I need, I'm either going to die or you're going to help me. And if you don't help me, then I die and it's your fault. So I was kind of angry at him. So I'm like, if you're going to do it, do it. And I really was an honest prayer. I was on my knees crying the whole bit. And I got up, I went to bed. I was actually sober that night. Yeah, and go figure, it was about 7 o'clock, and I get a call that morning, and it's my now wife. When she calls me, she's like, Paul, I'm like, what? She's like, sit down. I'm like, what do you mean sit down? Are you okay? She goes, no, I'm pregnant. Oh, jeez. I go, this is the answer? So now I'm going to ruin someone else's life? This can't be your answer. Now remember, at this time, I had, 300 or 400 pot plants in my basement in this house I'm at. So I'm always nervous. Every time I hear a door knock or a car drive by, and it's a bad life. Always nervous. But again, you got money. So what? I'll bail myself out of jail, get a good lawyer, I'll get out of trouble. That's the back of your head. So she calls me. It was exactly 12 hours. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe that was his answer. But I need more than that, God. That's not discipline. Now you're disciplining a kid that doesn't deserve me as a dad. Why are you going to do this? So I'm questioning God's wisdom, like the smart person I am. Exactly 12 hours after that, boom, 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 I hear a pound on the door. I go, who is it? I think it's my buddy Ali. They're like, police. I go, just shut up, police. I open the door, there's about 20 cops pointing guns at me. I'm like, oh, this is it. They thought I was going to be scared. I'm like, whoa, he really answered me. I open the door. I go, I just let him in. I go, this is where everything is. They go, what are you on? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I on? Why are you happy? I'm like, because you don't even know why you're here. Test this kid, he's all high on drugs. I go, oh, no, I was just happy that they were there. I'm like, it's finally done. It's like now you literally put my hands behind my back and threw me in a cell and I can't hurt myself anymore. So I remember sitting in jail that night. I'm like, wow, he really loves me. This is crazy. He actually answered me. And I was happy. And people were looking at me like, well, this guy's happy to be here. I didn't want to get out. My dad wouldn't let no one bail me out. It doesn't matter. I had a pocket full of money. I'm like, no, I just want to stay in. Stay until at least my court did. I sat in there for about. So I got out. God calms you. It just doesn't mean everything's going to get erased and all of a sudden you're this brand new person. This stuff doesn't exist anymore. It did. So I get out. And I'm like, okay, God's real. Now what do I do with it? Now he got me one step. Where do I go? So I start going church shopping. Jeez, that sounds stupid, but I guess that's what they call it. I start going to these churches and I couldn't believe how different they were. I hear some pastors saying something that is totally different than this other church. I'm like, how confused is the Holy Spirit? If these people are all reading the same book and getting that different, then this thing can't be real. I didn't understand the Catholic and Protestant differences. I thought, Catholics just read the Bible and interpret themselves too. I didn't understand about, teachers from 2,000 years ago passing down the exact teachings to their predecessor and so on. So I keep church shopping, and who did I bump into? I was out of jail for about 2 weeks, and there's this family that lives right around the corner from me. I had never met him. They lived there my whole life. And he's actually the godfather of my oldest son now. His name's Martin. He got 12 kids. And his older kids, they're not wuss kids. They're tough, brute. You wouldn't look at them like they were some faithful Catholics. And I go over there one day, and they're all saying the rosary. I'm like, whoa, all the kids. He's got little ones all the way to 26 and 2. And they're all sitting there praying the rosary together. The whole family in this living room. I'm like, whoa, I never seen that before. So I'm like, what the heck, Martin seems like, so I start firing questions. I think, Catholics worship Mary and just the same things you hear from the books that you read. When you don't understand, you kind of buy into it. Man, this guy had 50 answers for me. I'm like, well, I didn't know there were that many answers. So it started getting me thinking. So what does he do? You notice I'm so curious. He gives me this tract, which is murder now. I don't even think you can even read it anymore. It's been read so much. It's common misconceptions. All the questions you have against Catholicism and the answers and all, the Bible verses and everything. So I go, what the heck? I got an open mind. I'm not going to be closed-minded. I can look at my parents. My parents are holy people. We're all Christian. That's what's in my mind. We all love Jesus. There's no right and wrong. That relativist blah, blah. So I read it. I give an open shot. I read it. And I'm like, dude, pretty cogent answers. They were hard to get around. Really good. Every question had 50 answers. So and I'm arguing with that's why I'm an apologist. I was an apologist to myself. I did not want to be Catholic. you can't make an excuse to be Catholic. You can only make an excuse not to be Catholic. Because you can't take we have everything. You can only take away from us. You can't add to us. So I didn't want to, to be a Catholic there's nothing harder than being a Catholic. So I go, okay. Now my wife was never baptized. Her family's they believe in Jesus. They're Christian people, but not church going, not really practicing. So she knew about Christianity, but she's not real in depth with it. So she was kind of on the way with me. So I'm still real confused. What church do I dump all of my time into? If I'm going to roll dice on my salvation, where's it going to? What church is it? And this is crazy. I'm laying there one night. In fact, it was 12:35, 12:40. How I'd be having a dialogue with anybody else. I ask you a question, you talk to me back. Within a second, eye contact, we talk to each other. So I'm talking to God. I'm laying on my bed. Now, as I'm asking this question, the TV clicks on. I haven't even really asked the question yet. And I'm saying, God, I'm confused. On the street I live on, there's 15 different churches. This can't all be real. I want to know which one's your church. Tell me. Now, as I'm saying this, the TV turns on. Because I heard it click. I thought maybe the dog stepped on the remote or something. Mind you, it's 12:30. The TV clicks on. It goes all the way up to 55. It's on EWTN. It clicked there. It turned up to 55. Now, as I'm asking him this, I'm asking him, what is your church? And it's the intercession part of the Mass, the Lord, hear our prayer part. I just can't even believe this happened. So I'm saying it in my head, and it comes on to all the prodigal Catholics out there. Know that you were born in the true faith. Lord, hear our prayer. And I was I hit my wife. What are you doing? What are you turn? It freaked me out that happened. The remote is over in another room. The remote. He was speaking to me. What church you belong to? And he's the Catholic Church welcomes you back. I get on my knees. I start bawling. My hair standing up. I didn't know what to do. I've never felt. It tore me apart. I just couldn't believe God loved me that much to do something like that to me. So I call my mom the next day, and I thanked her for raising me as a Catholic. And she goes, why? I go, because I get to go to confession, go get clean, and walk out a brand new Catholic in one day. So many people make this journey, it takes them 5 years, so long to learn and go to catechism. Me, I just get to walk in confession and walk right back out. Brand new, clean. And I did. And I told the priest, Abuna, you're going to have to give me about an hour. So why don't you see everybody and you go get another priest because you're going to need some time. Maybe a cigarette, a coffee, something. You're going to have to chill for a little while. So he said, okay. My confession was probably an hour and a half long. I sat there and I wrote down. I had look like a little kid's Christmas list. I had so much stuff written down. I got through that and I walked out. I get almost you ever see Mary Poppins? Kind of flying with a little broom. I was flying on cloud nine, I found it. Lost in the woods that long, and you finally find your way out. Now I go, now what do I do? When you find them, you find yourself. You don't know how to keep it in. It's like the guy running around screaming in the street. The British are coming? You want to yell and scream it from the rooftop. I didn't know what to do. So, me, I'm gaddy. But here's the bad part. You can only serve one master. You can't have that part of your life anymore. You got to choose. Are you going to choose me or are you going to choose that? You can't have both. You can't have one foot in the door. You can't be lukewarm. You can't be I love you enough. It's like cheating on your wife. I remember my priest told me, why don't you use your religion and do the same thing to your wife the way that you treat God and see how long your marriage lasts. You say, oh, I love you. It's just, I love you. I'm not coming home, sleeping in your bed, talking to you, nothing. But I love you. I really do. No, you don't. So I'm okay, you got a point. So I got some choices to make. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You come in the faith, be prepared to lose some friends. Especially when you're in that life. They're not going to like that. They're not going to like it at all. And they didn't. You're a hypocrite. I was just getting high with you 5 months ago. What, you're Mr. Apostle, Mr. Catholic. Well, and and go ahead and make fun of me. What am I going to do? And it was hard. It's that temptation. It really is. He doesn't want you to He's losing a soldier. He doesn't want to lose a soldier. He give you everything when you're not serving God. You get all. I had so much good luck. After that, the little things you get, the more faith you get, the more he picks at you, and it's always rooting vices out after that. You don't realize how many vices you get until you try to root them up. And you're like, whoa, man, you didn't know how many holes you had in you, how much barnacles are attached to you. So I spent a long time. But then I didn't know, I wanted to do more. So I don't know anything about radio and broadcasting or anything like that. But the apostle that I started, Army of Apostles, I still had money when I got out. So I go buy a computer, buy a recorder, a microphone. I'm like, I could start a website and just talk and maybe someone will hear it. So I'm like, what the heck? Put together a recording, said my conversion story. I had one of my buddies make me a little cheesy website. I'm like, I got to do something. I don't really think the site was for other people. I think it was for me. I met all of my new friends from that. I met Gary from that. I met my buddy Vince, him and his wife are the godparents of my youngest son, who's the one who knew Gary, was his student, and introduced us. Met so many people, Father Ricardo, I met Paco, so many good people. And then after that, you really have to watch yourself, because you tend to really get a little overconfident. It's almost like God, it gives you a lollipop. When you first find them, it's so sweet, so awesome. Life is so good. That's all you think about. My God, you're so good. And you have this lollipop, and all of a sudden he takes it away from you. Like, you love me, or do you love a lollipop? And you're like, oh man. And you see all the saints, they all go through that dark night of the soul. There's always that testing. And he took my lollipop away. Because I think while I was in court with all that trouble, I was facing a long time in prison. I did not want to go to prison. And I know a little jail, 3 months. I could have done 10 years for all that stuff. And I had guns in my house. I was facing a long time. So I'm thinking, was my faith just because I don't want to get in trouble? I was so close to him. And then as soon as the court case is over, I had to pay like $40,000 or $50,000 at that time of sentencing. And I got 6 months in jail. That's it. I probably should have got more. I'm thinking, okay, thank you. And I remember going to jail. It was really crazy. So when they sentenced me, I go into jail. I'm probably in a cell. It only fits 20. There's about 40 guys in there. I'm preaching up a storm while I'm in there. I probably converted 30 people while I was in there. This is the funniest one. I still talk to him this day. This big black guy, real mean. He was a Muslim. He hears me talking to the one guy, and as Gary knows, being that I'm from Lebanon, I have a lot of experience with Islam. I know the Quran real good. And I forgot what he said to me. I was talking about Muhammad with somebody, and I didn't know this guy was Muslim, so he's probably, like I said, I did martial arts for 12 years. I could take care of myself. But this guy was about 260. He's a big dude. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, what'd you say about Muhammad? I'm like, oh, jeez, I struck the wrong chord. So, I ain't going to be scared. I start, breaking the gospel down to him. I go, both of us can't be right. One's right and one's wrong. There can't both be right. You got to pick one. One did miracles, died and came back again. The other one didn't do anything. Well, he's like, all you want us to do is kiss the feet of your white God. I'm like, whoa, kiss the feet of our white God? How come you think if he was from Nairobi, I'd kiss his feet? He was Jewish. What do you mean? You get a white God? So we get into it for about 3 hours. Yeah, he was all angry. He didn't want to fight me, though, but he got angry. We go to bed. I don't know there's no clocks in the cell, so I don't know what time it is. All of a sudden, I feel someone shaking me about 4 a.m. I was like, man, about that Catholic church, man. He starts asking me questions, probably for a day straight. She's like, I tell him I went to this church at Old St. Mary's in Greektown. Probably 3/4 black community. I'm like, man, I didn't even know the priest there. I go, I know this church. It's almost all black guys. You get along. The priest is awesome. I went down there with him. I still talk to him probably every other week. On fire Catholic guy. I mean, a whole bunch of... Jail was probably the best time to preach. Because everyone in there is looking for something. And they can't run. Where are you going to go? Walk to that corner, walk to that corner, walk and go get a pop? You ain't going nowhere. You're stuck in a little cell. So you're forced to talk, and you always get the one angry dude. You get one really angry guy. Shut up, you only want God because you're in trouble. And it's almost like they put one in every cell. There's just one to discourage you everywhere you go in there. But I got over it. I got out. I kept my faith. But you notice he's so smart. If you don't lean on his shoulder, he kicks your feet from under you, so you have to lean on his shoulder. He really does. So I'm always watching my feet. Again, I don't want to trip up. I need God. But when you don't need him so much, we're humans. It's natural in us to want to do our own thing. And then you start thinking the things that you did on your own. You didn't do with God. I did it. I don't owe God anything. So I'd say the next couple years, it was right around the time I met Gary. It wasn't battling, but you start getting them. If it wasn't for the TV flicking on, I think God knew I needed something so supernatural because you'll always doubt. No matter what, you could see an angel come down, call you by name and say, God loves you. And a year you'd be like, it could have been a hologram. Someone could have been messing with me. Maybe I ate some bad mushrooms. You'll think of something to disregard the miracle that happened to you, no matter what. It's just natural. We do that. So I'm going through my head like, it's almost starting to doubt. I wouldn't say doubt everything, but the journey is really, it's to walk with Christ. You're going to be tested every single day. Your morals are always challenged. Your reason for doing things is challenged. You start getting into politics, you're really going to get challenged when you stand up for your morality. You start talking about voting. Whoa, I've never been in so many arguments. Life. Yeah, that is the most important thing to me. It's just the life issues. What about money? What about money? You're going to put murder over money? What are you, crazy? I can't tell you how many friends I've lost just on that little thing. They're cool with the religion. They're not cool with that. It's one little thing. So you'll start seeing, maybe I can put that on the shelf and everything else is cool. And pretty soon you pick one, you pick another one, you put those on the shelf, you're half a Catholic now. So that is like the constant battle of once I found the church. Could you draw me from the church now? Never. Never. Like I said, why be Catholic? Jesus said so. That's it. We didn't build this church. He built this church. You have no choice to leave. And it's funny, all the friends I've got that, it's really embarrassing. All the people that I've converted are better Catholics than I am now. They're the ones coming and ministering to me now. I have a buddy, Ramal. He's an Albanian guy. He's Muslim. Come over from Albania. And he had a real wicked conversion story too. Crazy things happened to him. But he was going to become Orthodox just because that's like the predominant church in like Yugoslavia. That's like if you're going to be a Christian, that's usually what they are over there. And that's how I met him. He was really on fire for about a year. So I started bringing him to church with me. I don't want to be like the liturgy, please, but I called you after the one happened. Every church I took him to, something so blasphemous happened. I couldn't believe it. I go to one church, the priest comes out of retirement, probably 70s. He says, I came out of retirement, they couldn't find a priest for today. We're sitting in the front row, and the priest is giving a homily, and I'm looking around at everybody, and he goes, well, I think in the future, I think the popes are going to fail. I go, what? He goes, well, I think women should be able to be priests, thank you. There's a woman, like an altar girl, chewing gum, sitting next to him. I'm looking around, I go, did you hear what he said? They're like, my buddy Ramal said, but it goes, blasphemy. Right to the in the middle of and we were in the front row. Genuflex, I'm looking at him like, oh my gosh. And he walked out. I walked out with him. Oh my gosh. This happened 6 weeks in a row. Just picking a church out of nowhere. I go, you want to go to Mass? Okay, we'll go to Mass. Let's find a new church to go to. Just to go see, let's just go hear a different priest today. That happened for a month and a half in a row. Which I thought was crazy. Real crazy. So I got over my skepticism. Still doing the talk show. And I don't know, I have no idea how I'm here standing talking about Jesus now. I think about it even when I walk and see my picture out front goes, some people would see that picture and start dying laughing. Like, I could see you giving a lecture, but not on why be Catholic. Are you kidding me? Even my wife, of all the people that know me, she's been with me 11 years now. She took a picture, you sent it to my parents, and she out there was so cute. And my mom leaves me a text while I'm talking to you, saying, what a 360 God can make you do. That same person, you're no different than you were. You're the same flesh you were when you were 10. You're the same person. You just grew a little bit. But you become so different. I mean, so quick. And I remember telling Father Ricardo, I'm like, how is he going to choose me? I'm bad. And he goes, did you ever murder anybody? I go, no. No, I never. He's like, well, did you ever commit adultery and then kill the guy her husband? I go, no. He goes, well, you got David and you got Paul, so you're not as bad as they are. So you're not that bad. I'm like, well, yeah, true. I guess I'm not that bad. But it seems like he chooses the worst of us to do this to you so people can say, oh, that had to be God. That couldn't have been Paul. There's no way he could turn into that without God. And it's like a living testimony. And people will doubt for a long time. It's weird. Little things you do today, little seeds people planted 20 years ago came to sprout. So it's like if you do have kids that are in that kind of lifestyle, family, cousins, that's totally on them, man. It ain't nobody's fault. But plant the seeds. And don't back down. Don't back down. Don't recant on one word. Stand up, be firm, and that's it. They'll look up to your strength. They won't say it to you. They'll say, oh, that my aunt's wacky. She's crazy, believes in that stuff. Give it time. Because they'll believe in that stuff too. They really will. You have no choice. Whether it's today or it's on your deathbed, you're going to be asking, is this real? What's truth? I hate to quote Pontius Pilate, but, what is truth? My dad had told me, look for truth and don't look for Jesus and you'll find him. Just look for truth and be open-minded and look for what's true. Don't even go on any religion. Just look for truth and look at history. Because Jesus is not just he's not a once upon a time there was a guy named Jesus. This is a historical fact. Say I went to court and someone was making this crazy accusation. They seen someone rise from the dead. People can be like, you're crazy. And then you see 5,000 people in a line and they see you testify and you say you saw that, I'm going to skin you and take your head off. Okay, I seen it. And everyone, he gets his head chopped off. The next guy stands up, yep, I seen it too. You see 5,000 people lose their life over that. There is no way you're walking out of that courtroom saying, well, maybe they're all crazy. No, they're not crazy. It's exactly the testimony of the gospel. How many people never recanted about the gospel not one time? And you can't tell me I would recant a lot of stuff. I would recant the truth if you were going to torture me like that. And it's a lot of part what I hang my faith on also. So I guess in conclusion, this is pretty wild. I can't even still believe I'm looking out at people listening to me talk about God. Praise be to God. He's good, isn't he? Yeah. He's too good. I tell you, I don't deserve this. I really don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I don't think any of us really deserve it. At the end of the day, it's just mercy. Like there was a story my dad told me. You get to heaven, and St. Peter asks you, okay, you want in? Give me 100 good things you did. Okay, I gave to the poor. He goes, okay, that's one. Well, I loved people. Okay, that's two. Like, man. I clothed people when they were naked. That's three. I visited people in prison. That's four. Like, man, I got 96 to make up. So the guy falls on it. He said, Lord, have mercy on me. He goes, okay, that's 96. So at the end of the day, it is up to mercy. There's nothing we can do. None of us, even a saint, knows that. It's the holier you get, the more you know. You're not worthy of it at all. And it's crazy. I tell Gary, it's like you have two eyes in you. There's two people in you. It's like the Apostle Paul said, the one sin I hate is the one thing I do. It's like you do sin, and if you commit mortal sin, you know what you're doing, you choose to do it, and then you hate yourself for doing it, which is nuts. Just the way the devil attacks you. Come on, you want to do it. Just, you deserve it. You do it and say, God, what a crappy Catholic you are. You're not a Catholic. Just do it again. It's like, it rips your mind apart. But Christians have been going through this for 2,000 years, and I'm going to tell you, it's not going to get any easier. And I'll tell you from where I stand, just from having little ones. I got nephews that are, young in the culture, that I've been trying to get out. Being a Christian is going to be very hard in the future, really hard, which is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Oh my gosh, you people forgive people? You got to be stopped. Love your enemy. We got to silence these people. I don't get where the hate comes from for Christians, but you look around. We're the only ones that are verbally attacked, and it's okay. There is no Catholicism bigotry. You could say anything about the Pope, Catholics, priests, it's all good. But say that about a Muslim, about a Jew, you can't say that. Catholics, free game. We all got targets on our back. And you know why? It's the church the devil's got to take down. You could say anything about any other church or organization, it doesn't hurt them. It's our organization. I told Gary, every secular movie I watch, and you see a demoniac or an exorcism, you never see him go get Pastor Bob from the Baptist church. It's always a Catholic priest. No matter how secular the movie is, you got to call Father Phil. And he'll come with the holy water and the crucifix. They even recognize the truth behind Catholicism. You go 500 years ago, being a Christian, there was no Catholic misnomer. It was you were a Christian, you were a Catholic. There was, I don't know, other than that, I'd just like to say thank you for coming and listening to me babble about my faith. And I hope it was good. Yeah. But thank you.
So now that you're no longer in that life, how do you support your family?
I build furniture. I'm still a carpenter. I started actually when I was 14 building caskets with my brother-in-law. Actually at a Christian memorial. And I mean $20,000 caskets. Fine woodwork. And then I just stayed in carpentry since then. I was in high school doing framing, and then I started trimming about 18, and I never stopped. So I still work, and I just did, anyone who knows who Igor Larianov is? Red Wings?
Yeah.
I just did his house and his neighbor's house. And we do a lot of guys in Birmingham, sports art, so I still stay in the trade. I'm mostly a furniture builder, though. Just like Jesus. I wanted to quit. My dad goes, if it's good enough for God, well, it's good enough for you.
Can you tell us more about the saints that are special to you?
In general, or from where I come from? Or just in general, saints?
Just the ones that you're devoted to.
You know what's crazy? The communion of saints always is, it's even been weird asking my grandmother for intercession the last couple months. My life is flip change. My devotion to the Blessed Mother. We, in my tradition, don't really say the rosary out loud. It's a monastic tradition. St. Charbel was a hermit. So our prayer is, you can't hear God whisper if you're talking. You have to be quiet. Everything is silence. The devotion it's just so weird that I've had for the last couple of years is the shroud. I have the biggest devotion to the shroud. I almost bought tickets to Turin to go see it when it was out last year, but I just couldn't. That money depleted a while ago when I had to start living like real people. And I support my wife and 2 kids by myself. So that money didn't go that far when you're not making that kind. I sold the house and, I live like a normal person's life. So I couldn't afford to go to Turin just I have a fund for it though, and when it comes out again, I'm going to go see it.
I just want to know, did you go to rehab to get clean, or you did it on your own? How long did it take you? Because I know an addiction is not that easily broken.
No. What's weird is, I don't want to say it with young people because it's really marijuana's in your brain. You don't get no withdrawals. And I get bigger withdrawals from not drinking coffee. That's all in your head. I remember I sat in jail for a week. I kind of kicked it in jail. Most of the big drugs, it's just a couple days. I never did heroin. That's the stuff that I've watched. I just had a friend overdose a little under a year ago. Most talented mechanic. Have so much money, just threw his whole life away on that stuff. But the withdrawal, I didn't have I got really angry. I felt like a coward. Being a martial artist, I don't like being beaten at anything. Well, I felt I'm getting beat by this. Well, once I kicked it a week, I got on and be like, what an idiot. You're going to spit in God's face and go do it again? I just stopped. Within that year, I probably relapsed a couple times, smoked, got angry at myself, didn't smoke again. But I never got back in I just never did it again. Praise be to God, I never did it again. I know some people take a long time. They go to rehab for a long time. I didn't have to do it. Praise be to Jesus.
With the grace of God, you did.
Yeah. Oh, I don't do anything myself. If it was up to me, I'd still be doing it. It wasn't me. Because when I said praise be to Jesus Christ, I was expecting everyone to go now and forever. I was actually going to start with that and see that's why I love being Catholic.
Hey, Paul, what happened in the Adoration Chapel the other night?
Oh, jeez. I usually, my hours from like 8 to 9 on Saturdays. And I moved up to Lapeer. Well, I live in Attica. I just didn't want to raise my kids in the city. It's nicer up there. People are a little calm, not so violent. The church I go to is 26 years this year, perpetual Eucharistic adoration. 26 years. You can walk in any time, and it's always open. So I go there about 7, and I get to the side door. I do the holy water. I go open the door. The door's locked. I'm like, what? There's some guy I never seen before sitting on his cell phone on walkie looking at me. I'm like, open the door. Bro, what are you doing? Open it. Well, my criminal mind, I'm thinking, is this guy robbing the church or something? I'm already thinking in my head. I'd never seen him before, so he unlocks the door. Give him a little glance. I walk past him. I go, and then it's in the actual sanctuary. Off to the side altar, they have the monstrance, and it's exposed right there. So I set my jacket down. I usually go just like lay on my face in front of it. I stand up, and the door's closed. I look at that guy again, making sure. I'm thinking maybe he's robbing the church, playing a part or something. So I'm being all eerie. He's talking to someone on the speaker, and it's my friend Dave. His name's Dave Ruddick. Best guy I've ever met in my life. I met him at Adoration. Like my angel, godsend, greatest man. He's talking to him on the phone, telling him, what do I do? So I'm like, well, what happened? He looked shook, like shaking. I go, we'll talk about it, but first open it. Let me pray for a second, and we'll talk about it. So he opens. I let him go do his thing. I say my prayers. I get up. I'm like, what's the problem? He's like shaking. It's like stuttering while he's talking. I'm like, what happened? He goes, I'm sitting, and he was there from 2 in the morning. That morning, it was 7:30 at night. So he was there all day and all morning. He said, Paul, I came in here at 2 o'clock. And something woke me up and told me, go to adoration. Just woke him up out of his sleep, told him go to adoration. I was like, I'm not one to argue, so I got up and went to adoration. He said he's sitting there, and he does the Station to the Cross. So he's all the way in the front of the church, and that's the altar. She's like, I'm in the back, and I hear a girl come in. She's in a jacket and takes her jacket and her shoes off, and she starts just cursing the Blessed Mother and spit on the statue. She didn't know anyone was there. And she's like, I'm the queen of immortal souls. Then spit on the cross and said, like, blaspheming Christ, and started making a beeline to the altar. And he's like, I seen that. I ran over and I grabbed her. And he's like, she was just, her eyes were pitch black and just spewing like she was like possessed. Well, our priest, Father Terrian, he's actually the head exorcist at Archdiocese of Detroit, Father Terrian in Immaculate Conception. And he's like, Paul, she wasn't right. I thought her head was going to spin. He couldn't believe the things she was saying were so like deep theologically perverse that it wasn't just a normal young girl. And he goes, man, I didn't even want to talk to her, Paul. Her eyes were so deep with just nothing. And he goes, she was trying to get in the tabernacle. He's probably trying to go desecrate the Eucharist. So he grabbed her and he threw her out and he locked the door. This is at 2:30 in the morning. She's like, I unlocked the door, and I sat there till someone else came. And I felt like I couldn't leave. Well, before I got there, she came back again. Well, she came back again. He's like, she didn't see him. She started screaming, just blasphemies, going nuts, making a beeline to the altar again. And he said, went to grab her again. She got her shoes on and ran out the building. So he's telling me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'm like, she's lucky I wasn't here. I was going to go get a super soaker, put holy water in it, wait for her to come in and spray her or something. So we're sitting there, and it's kind of like, I usually go there for like 3 or 4 hours. It's kind of like Dave and I's, we just kind of like a talk faith in front of Christ. It's just, we have good conversation. And we pray for like an hour, then we talk for a couple hours till people come in. So we're sitting there talking, and now this guy, his name's Bishop, he's like you, he's looking at me, and Dave's right here, and I see his eyes go, she came in again when I was there. Whoa. I mean, she was doing I couldn't believe, I didn't even want to repeat the things she was saying, but they weren't stupid. They were like, I can't, I don't know where she learned these words, but they were like really deeply theological. I mean, cursing the Immaculate Conception and the Trinity, and I mean, like, whoa, she's seen us. She ran to the front, she put her hand in the holy water, which I thought was nuts, and she did the sign of the cross like this, backwards. And then she went to go back in. I stood up, and I grabbed my jacket, started walking towards her, like trying to get like tough on her. She turned around and ran back out the door. So I stayed for like another hour. It was getting kind of late. I had like to help my wife put the kids to bed. So I'm like, it's 10 o'clock, I'll go home. And then I talked to him, I guess she's never came back. Well, if you heard the thing, it's almost, is it St. Bernadette, the Immaculate Conception? That's who it is, right? Well, it was almost the same thing. That's why they believed her. Some nun that really wasn't that intelligent says, she said, I am the Immaculate Conception. And that's why they believed her. Like, where did you learn such theology? If you would have heard what was coming out of her mouth, very intelligently blasphemous. And I mean, she was like, woohoo, yelling, screaming. I was like, whoa, I almost want to go get Father Terry. Like, you got to do an exorcism or something. Well, we couldn't get a hold of him. He was gone. There's another priest, Father Clement. He's like, here's a button to press for the police. There's like a police button in the church. And I was like, you really don't want to call the cops there's a possessed person in the church. Did she commit any harm? No, she's cursing God. Okay, well, I'm going to charge you for that call now. So there was nothing he could do. But what is crazy is he was prompted to go there. She could have came in and got in the tabernacle and desecrated the Eucharist, which, that's bad.
I was baptized in the Eastern Rite Church, too, and I have a question. When you went to jail, what did your parents and family say?
In our language, it's Aibashum Aleik. It means like, shame on you. But Aib is just a different shame. It's not shaming you, you're shaming the whole family. It's the same thing. What's weird about being Catholic is really our church is a dictatorship. And dictatorships work when the dictator's God. It doesn't work when it's a person. But God is a good dictator. Everything is equal. But it is collective. My sin's your sin. When you're glorified, I'm glorified. So it is not rugged individualism in our church. So when I shame myself, I shame my whole family. Of course they were upset at me, but God bless them. They never, ever, ever left me. My God bless my mother. Such a good woman. Wouldn't hurt a fly. I mean, she's passive to the point where she'll never touch a hair in anyone's head. Even if it kills her, she wouldn't do it. And she always just told me how much she loved me and how good I am and what I could do in life. And that's your lifestyle. I always will love you and you can always come back. It wasn't like, I hate you and you shame my family. They never cut that line with me. But whoa, I shamed them. But my mother and father just learned something from it. And God is so smart. He took all of my things that when I was bad, and now I use them for good. I ain't scared to preach. I ain't scared I'll go in jail and preach. I ain't scared to go anywhere. And a lot of people, they're timid about talking their faith. They don't want people to laugh at them. Laugh at me, I'll laugh back at you. What, you think I'm funny? You're the agnostic. You're the silly one. You laugh at me. It doesn't bother me. And a lot of people are timid. So he uses like all of our little gifts from before you find them, and then he exploits them. And he's smart. He stoops to conquer. He's love. Capital L-O-V-E.
Now that you're a father of 2 boys, how has your life changed as a dad?
Oy. Oops, did I say that? That's what they're little sponges. You can't have to be totally different around them. I really respect the way I was raised. My father, there was no sugarcoating. Like, there was no little frilly, this is real life, that's how it is. When I was 5 years old, this is how it is. There was no, let's be nice around the kids. No, that's how life is. People are going to hate you, they're going to walk on you, they're going to love you. There was no, so I try to not be too sheltering, but I don't want to, there's a point between exposing them, because you don't want to keep them totally out of it. You see I knew a lot of kids that were really sheltered, good kids. They go to college, they're worse than me. They get into drugs, they've never seen it before. Oh my gosh, this is great. I don't want to shut them. They're still, my oldest one's 4. Yeah, man, being a father is tough. Being a good husband and a good father is really tough. I mean, especially my wife is trying to become a lawyer. So I got to do my job, support the family. I mean, and she rocks at school. I wish she would listen to me. She's so good in school. So it's like I got to give her time. She's up till 3 o'clock in the morning, studying. So thank God I have 2 boys. They're kind of like daddy boys. They're not mommy boys. My sons love me. I know she'd get angry if she was in here. I mean, we're not going to stop at 2. We want at least like 4 or 5. So, I mean, whatever God wants to give us. But it changes your life big time. I'm angry, though, that I didn't do it earlier. I mean, I'm 33. I'm still young, but I wish I would have started having kids when I was younger. It's so awesome. When she called me and said we were pregnant, remember, I was not in my faith. I was still so happy. I always wanted kids. I mean, we used to be drugged out talking, what are we going to name our sons? What are we going to teach them? Where are we going to take them? Not even thinking that I always wanted to be a dad. It's really cool. It's a blessing. Oh, it changes your life, man. Everything you do, it takes it out on them. But it's easy to feel guilty, too. I don't want to say I'm so ashamed of myself. I've done things, I'm a felon. So what if, you guys think I changed and my parents think I changed, an employer doesn't think I changed? I'm a felon. I got drug and weapon charges. I can't do anything now. Anything. I speak a whole boatload of languages. I can't use any of my talents. I can't go to school. You can't get hired and can't get a good job. I'm stuck being I don't want to say stuck being a carpenter, but I can't really go further in my life. Forever, I take that with me. It's like a consequence. You can't shake that off your life. It's on me forever. I did that to my children. And it kills me. I didn't think longer than a day back then. I didn't think about consequences. So I think it's really going to make me a good father, though. You think they're going to hide something on me? Going to hide nothing. My kid's going to tell me, you don't understand, Baba. I don't understand, little guy. Better watch your mouth. So hopefully it'll be good. I'm looking forward to him getting older. But it's crazy, though. What a blessing. That's another saint. Saint Joseph, I've really been starting to get close to. Because I've been praying for a miracle. I need something. But, he was a carpenter, father. He was a pretty good father. His son did a lot of good things. So if my son can do half of that, I'll be pretty proud. So
earlier you mentioned a few miracles. One of the problems that I've always had was, how do we explain other miracles in other faiths that they say happen?
That's it? No, other faiths, you mean in Christian faiths or other faiths like period?
Muslim, pagan, those kind of things.
From the miracles that I know about in them, a lot of the miracles, they're different than miracles that happen. Like, all of it come from God. Just like everyone's saved through Jesus, whether they know it or not. God does give grace to other faiths. It's a lot of people, they don't even know about Christianity. I mean, not anymore, but there's still people that don't know about the gospel. God still works in their life. He still loves them. But the miracles that happen in Christianity, are like Muslim, I don't know. This is actually an idea Gary and I were shooting around, going for I don't know if I was supposed to say anything. But trying to find miracles and then prove them. The miracles in Catholicism, though, in praying, asking a saint for a healing and you're healed, people being raised from the dead, I don't know if I'm qualified to answer because I've never even heard of really any like supernatural miracles like in Islam. I've never heard of a miracle in Islam. Well, yeah, Muhammad going to heaven is just a myth. No one seen it. Like Jesus wasn't, I heard he rose. No, man, 1,000 people seen him, 5,000 people seen him walking, give me some bread. Sweet, let me have something to drink. Here, put your hand in my side. Muhammad, when you asked him, Muhammad, what was your miracle? Oh, I gave a book. Well, how do I know the angel gave it to you? Oh, trust me, he did. Well, how do I know? Just believe me, read it. It's different, his miracle. He's the only prophet. He didn't do any miracles because he said the other prophets came to do miracles. My miracle is that I didn't do any miracles. No. No one is like Jesus, man. That's not even a miracle. That's so beyond what is natural. You do one miracle, that's cool. You do 3, God likes you. You let me torture you for 2 days and you come back for 40 days and eat with me, big different story. really different. But I mean, you'd have to tell me somewhere. I don't know if I never heard of a pagan miracle. But talk to me after. Refresh me.
Since you were born in a Maronite family, have you ever attended a Maronite mass?
What? What nationality are you?
Lebanese like you.
I knew your accent. I'm like, that accent really sounds familiar.
I know.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, that's right. I grew up at St. Charbel at 13 and Shaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abuna Kale and
Yep.
Abuna John Paul.
Yep.
But he's in Rome right now. I still talk. He came in from Rome to baptize my youngest one. He came in and baptized him. Now, my wife came into the church on our wedding day, was baptized, confirmed, made all of her sacraments that day, and then we got married. Just stinking like incense. Oh, yeah, no, I grew up in a Maronite church. We would go to the Latin Rite like once a week. And then we go to St. Charbel the other 3 days. Now, like my families, we always go to a Maronite church. But now that we moved to Lapeer, I got to drive all the way to Flintbot. It's still far. So I just go to Immaculate Conception, 10 minutes from my house. Oh, man, nothing. My wife, she's Romanian, she doesn't know anything but the Maronite Mass. She's having a hard time. You know, we don't have organ and sing. It's, you know, she misses the Kadisha, she misses the chants, and it's hard for her to get used to the Latin. No offense, it's just nice and frilly and friendly and soft. Ours is, you know, the liturgy, the anaphoras are just, it's just different. It's so, I tell everyone, go to one Maronite Mass. One. And you hear the consecration in the Lord's language. Beautiful. Breathtaking, beautiful.
Paul, thank you. It's been very enlightening and very unusual experience.
I've heard that before.
I was raised Melkite.
Oh, yeah.
So we're cousins.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm a little curious about your army of apostles. You haven't discussed that, and could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I guess. Like I said, it was I didn't know what I was doing. God was like prompting me, do something. Well, what? Well, you got to talk. You got to say something. Well, okay. I had one of my buddies. I was just brainstorming name. I didn't even think of the name. He's like, what? You act like a soldier. You ain't scared of nothing. And you try to be an apostle. I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense. It's kind of AOA. That's kind of catchy. So even the name just sputtered out of nowhere. I didn't really have like a direction. After I did my conversion, that was the first one. I go, man, what else do I talk about? This is boring. I can't do just me. And then if anyone's ever listened to a show, I have a buddy, Louis, Albanian kite. Killer reversion story. He's like me times 50. If you get us together, you need like motor oil. We'll burn something up. I mean, we'll go all day back and forth. He kind of, you know what happened is I kept doing talk shows. We'd pick up, like Vince and I, we did like a 3-part series on Christian unity. I'd get like 30, 40 mails, but it wasn't, I kept thinking maybe no one's listening. No one really cares. And then I go to, I don't know if anyone ever been to St. Cyril Methodius. It's on the east side. I walk out one day and I got an army of apostles. I got like shirts and stuff, and he goes, hey, do you know Paul? I'm like, what? He's like, Paul from Army of Apostles. Do you know him? I'm like, I am Paul. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a little strut in my step. I'm like a little celebrity. So bam, I made a couple more shows, and it's internet. You just go on there and armyofapostles.net and just listen to it.
It's armyofapostles.net.
.net. What Melkite church you go to? What Melkite church? Our Lady of Redemption? Yeah, it's right around the corner from our. I mean, we even take in like Father Stefan's kids for catechism. We did. I taught 7th and 8th grade. I had a couple of his students. So. Ooh, it's a nice one. But that's more of a Greek rite. But there's just a lot in Lebanon, so that's where they get the Arabic Mass from. But ours is Syriac. It's so. I mean, it's the same like incense. It's similar.
But one thing Paul hasn't got into was the life issues too much. I suggest you go on his website, armyofapostles.net. If you have any question about the life issue, you look at the abortion pics that he has on there.
Very serious about that.
You'll see how devoted he is to life.
I mean, I had a hard time when I was fighting just to fight somebody. which is crazy. I train martial arts. I couldn't go into a ring. I'd have to let someone hit me first. I can't. I have a hard time trying to, the mindset of a fighter is to destroy somebody. I couldn't even know, and you're going to try to destroy something that has never done anything. And its own mother does it. How perverse does society have to be to tell a mother it is okay to kill her own child? And then the woman says, well, it's liberating. Whoa, not even the baby, the woman is a victim too. And this is what is, women think they're liberating herself by killing themselves. How? Where? It drives me nuts. When it says a woman's issue, yeah, it's a woman's issue. The woman is a victim. I think she's even more of a victim. You're hiring a hitman. How do you think, they never talk to the women after they had the abortion 10 years later. I know them. You know how many women try to commit suicide years after they do that? You don't ever hear Planned Parenthood put them up. You think they want to hear women, oh my God, I killed my kid, I'm haunted by it for the rest of my life? They don't, No, don't say that. Just give us the money and let us do it. It'll make you feel better. No, it doesn't. It's shaitan, it's evil. Straight up evil, sign of Satan. That's the biggest evil thing I've ever seen in my life. And then to me, I drive by one of those places, there's hitmen in there. There's literal hitmen. And they're doctors. They're doctors. They're not people like us. You can't say, okay, is it a kid? Which is the greatest argument. Well, you Catholics are so dogmatic. You say you know it's a life. I say, can you say it's not? Well, no. Then don't shoot. What do you mean? Well, I didn't know it was a person in the street and I hit it. You're going to jail for 10 years, dude. It's involuntary manslaughter. You can't say, I didn't know. Well, then don't shoot. Until you know it's not a person, don't do it. How hard is that? You can't do that anywhere in life except abortion. If I'm hunting and I see the bush move and I'm not sure it's a person and I shoot it and it is, I go to jail. 10 years. There's only one way it's not a crime, is if you know it's not a baby and you do it. No one knows that it's not. Of course, we know it is. You can deliver a baby in, 4 months? 3.5 months, you deliver them 2-3 ounces and they live. And you hear these Catholic politicians, they want partial birth up to 9 months? Come on, if anything's worth fighting for, that's worth fighting for. Give me a break. It drives me nuts. Oh my gosh.